Welcome to the Art of Marx Trains, Part 13. When you enter the train room on the left before the layout and the workbench, there is a narrow shelf that is wide enough to hold a locomotive, 2 freight cars, and a caboose. And this is where I keep the Marx 1998 diesel, which was also called an S-3, an Alco S-3, and there essentially is one of each, minus some variations on the shelf, starting with a Union Pacific in a yellow tan color. Sometimes we call it mustard. And there's a Rock Island in red, a Santa Fe in black, the Allstate in blue, there's another Rock Island, maroon Santa Fe, and the yellow Union Pacific. We call that a canary yellow. So let's put them all on the counter and talk about how they're made and what the differences are. Well, back at the counter, got them all laid out. It's good to get them dusted off. And I'm going to start with the canary yellow Union Pacific and just tell you about some of the features. So the cab roof is rounded. The long hood is flat. It has a single smokestack. It has a horn mounted on the front of the cab. The frame is die cast, and it's got handrails front and back and side. The 1998 is molded into the cab side, and it's got lots of detail. If you've ever run these, you know how smoothly they operate. But this is one of the things that really sets apart the ingenuity of Marx. So it runs on a conventional 4-wheel motor, and the trucks have a very unique swivel, and the rear wheels are just trailing trucks. But you can see that it looks like a 4-wheel truck, but it's really not. There's a better view from this side. Four-wheel operation, looks like all 8 wheels turn. Plastic body is held on to the die-cast frame through pins that go through and are melted. So you can't remove that, but you can remove the chassis from the motor with some screws. See the slotted screw head sticking up on both sides. Fuel tank detail. So it's really an incredible locomotive, and we'll run one soon. One thing special about this particular canary yellow, and you can't really see inside here, but there is a sound mechanism called diesel roar. Diesel roar. It mounts with this screw and the screw in the back of the cab, and we'll run it a little bit later, and you can hear the rattle of the diesel. And if you squint your eyes, it sounds like a real diesel motor. Okay, let's look at the other Union Pacific in a tan yellow or a mustard color. One of the differences in this is that it's a painted model, and so the headlight doesn't shine through the grill. The whole body lights up on this, as we'll see later, and the body doesn't light up on the painted version. The color on this is probably a little bit more realistic for Union Pacific. It does not have the diesel roar, but it has all of the other features. Santa Fe came in maroon and black. Notice on this maroon there's a place for diesel roar to fit there, that hole there, and that hole there. But on this body, which is loose from the chassis, there is no hole either place. The melted pins have been undone for whatever reason, but that helps us to see what's inside. You can see the reverse unit in the headlight. Same thing on the black one. It has been removed as well. And you can see the reverse unit. You can see the brushes and the motor. Very simply made. The double reduction motor in there. Smooth runner. So that's the Santa Fe's. Probably the most difficult version to find is the Allstate. Comes in a blue, and it has all of the same features, plus a little yellow stripe on the front. The Rock Island has a few different variations. This is the variation with the silver trucks, the black lettering. It was also available in black trucks and white lettering. And there is an identical match next to it, but this one, as you can see, is very light. That's because it's a dummy. There's no motor inside, it's just a strip chassis. And so these two locomotives came as a set. So you have a powered A and a dummy A. Really look good together. The last one I have on the counter is not Marx. It's a K-line, and you can see that it sits a little bit taller. And the reason is K-line used the Marx mold, but they put powered trucks at two different motors that ran this. And so it sits a little bit higher. It has a stamped steel frame instead of the die-cast frame. It has more detail on the handrails, and you can see that the 1998 has been rubbed out of the plastic casting, or plastic mold, I should say. And all of the other details appear to be the same. The horn's slightly different, but I don't think they change much of anything. But they did change the name. Marx called theirs the S-3. K-line called theirs the S-2. And in my understanding, the difference between an S-2 and an S-3 was that the S-3 had a longer radiator grill, and these obviously have the same. So they could technically pass for an S-2 or an S-3. All right, let's go to the layout and give some of these a run. Here is the Union Pacific in mustard yellow. You can tell that they are smooth runners. And here's the Union Pacific 1998 in canary yellow. I'm going to give it just a little bit of voltage so you can hear the diesel roar. The diesel roar was available in the E7 diesels as well, but not all of them. And a pair of 1998 maroon Santa Fe's. Could pull a lot with these. We're looking at the bottom of the maroon Santa Fe's. Notice the one on the left does not have traction tires, but the one on the right does. You could definitely pull a lot with these. And the black Santa Fe. And the blue Allstate. Couldn't run it without the bay window caboose. Last but not least is the Rock Island. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed another edition of the Art of Marx Trains review of the Marx 1998 S-3.